Hello all and welcome to Reader Zone. My name is Jake Ball. I'm the founder and creator of Reader Zone. I'm grateful you've taken a little bit of time here today to learn about reading programs, how to run great reading programs, especially summer reading programs, and learn a little more about the Reader Zone platform. Here's how we kind of do these webinars before we dive into this. When we started creating Reader Zone and thinking about a system that could manage reading programs, what we did is we went around the world and we literally just studied schools and libraries that have really great reading programs and tried to draw conclusions with regard to what schools and libraries do that run really high quality programs. And what we found is that there are three principles that drive really great reading programs. They are adapt, engage, and report. So what I'll do first in the webinar here is just do a quick PowerPoint presentation. I promise it's short, it's only 19 slides, where we're just going to discuss a little bit principles that drive good reading programs. And even if you decide that Reader Zone isn't for you, at least you might find some value in thinking about principles of good reading programs and how you do reading programs in your own environment. After we're through with that little presentation, we are going to move to the Reader Zone dashboard, and we are going to build a live reading program in Reader Zone. And I'm going to show you what it looks like for you as a reading program organizer or librarian or a teacher, what it looks like to build and then deploy a reading program to your school community. Then we are going to take out our mobile device here, and I'll show you what it looks like for a patron or a student to join your reading program and what their experience is in terms of participating with your reading programs. We had two dual goals with Reader Zone. In terms of technology. The first was to make it such that you can build and deploy an all-new reading program to your community, what we call a reader-ready program, in about 10 minutes. By that I mean going from zero to having a finished and deployable reading program in 10 minutes. But we know that making it really convenient for librarians and teachers is great, but it's more important to have it convenient for your families and those who will participate in your program. So with that, again, with our mobile device here, we wanted to make it such that it takes less than 3 minutes to download the Reader Zone app, create a Reader Zone account, join a reading program, and then make your first reading entry. And then for ongoing entries, we want to have it take less than 10 seconds for anybody to use the app, whether through their mobile device or on any internet-connected computer, to go in and make daily reading entries. We call that the 9 p.m. test, where it's 9 p.m., you're done reading with your children for the day. If it takes longer than 10 seconds to make a reading entry, it's probably not going to happen. So it has to be ultra convenient for everybody. And so I'll show you how that kind of works. There's a chat open here on the webinar. So if you have any questions along the way, please just post them right there in the chat. If you can hear me okay, sometimes my audio doesn't come through the way it should. So if you can hear me okay, just type in "we can hear you," and just make sure that my audio is coming through the way it should. So with that, I'm going to switch screens here, and we are going to move to the reader, or to this little PowerPoint presentation, and talk about principles of really great reading programs. So give me a second here to switch screens, and we will do that. All right, so where am I here? Got to make sure we're on the right spot. So here's our webinar in 3 parts here. And this, we try not to take too long with this, I promise. I know your time is very precious. So here we go. Just a little more about me. My wife and I have 4 children in Idaho schools. My eldest is a junior. My youngest is a 2nd grader, and we have a freshman and a 5th grader. I have owned an online bookstore since 2006. And our goal with the bookstore is to raise funds for schools and libraries all over the United States. And it's been really great to own the bookstore and see how that works, and really be a literacy advocate for about, I guess, 16 years now. I created Reader Zone because I just simply believe the world needs a better reading program system and a dedicated technology tool that manages reading programs. And I'll talk about that here as we go through this quick PowerPoint. Number one, as we get into this, I just like to ask these questions to kind of take stock. Number one is, are you satisfied with the level of engagement in your reading programs? Number two, do your reading log programs reach their intended purposes? And number 3, and this is the big question that we all have, is how will you carry out reading log programs in 2021? These last 18 months have been challenging, to say the least, for public libraries and educators, and so we are answering questions with regard to how we can engage readers as we go along in real time. And I'm sure many of you have had to adjust in real time. So here's some aspirational questions for you. What if more of your students or patrons participated with your reading log programs? I always ask, what would it look like if you had a 100 to 200% growth in participation in your reading programs? What if you had access to real-time data? And what if you could set your school or library apart and create this culture of reading? And we're going to talk about a culture of reading more and more, but just a little preview to that. Any culture is built on practices and information. So we're going to talk about the practices of building good reading programs and then how you share that information. If you want to learn more about these 3 keys, which are here: adapt, engage, and report, if you go to readerzone.com and click down on the resources tab where it says Masterclass, I actually give 3 about 45-minute sessions where we talk about each of these principles of reading programs and how they work together. So again, here's our 3 keys: adapt, engage, and report. We're just going to touch on each of these very briefly, and then we're going to get into the Reader Zone platform. First, here's the reading log. When I was in 2nd grade in 1982 in Firth, Idaho, I remember my teacher handing me a sheet of paper that looked a lot like this. And when I sent my own son to school, he brought home a paper reading calendar that looked just like this 35 years later. We know these logs are cute, but very few families, even in the best of times, let's say all the way back in 2019, are willing to use these sheets of paper and participate in reading programs through a paper-based system. Today's families handle information on their digital devices, as we all know. And if you're not here, you're probably not going to engage with the family very well. But number 4 down there is my biggest beef with the paper reading log, and that is the data from these paper reading logs cannot be easily aggregated or analyzed. Usually we have these paper reading logs and we just do a quick spot check. We see if a threshold or a goal has been met, and then we toss that paper reading log, and it's very difficult to do anything really engaging or useful with that information. So we want to solve that problem through technology. So let's talk about adapting. When we talk about adaptable reading programs, I talk about offering multiple reading groups in the same age range, grade level, or classroom. That means in any given group of, say, 4th graders, you have a group that are advanced readers, a group that are reading around grade level, those who may touch grade level at some point, and then those who may be behind grade level. If you're offering the exact same reading goal and reading program for all of those readers, you're really missing an opportunity with those who are advanced and those who may be behind. So when we talk about adaptable reading programs, we meet readers where they are, and we build reading programs that pull readers forward no matter where they are. And you can do that through thoughtful technology application, and it sounds like a lot of work, but if you do it the right way, it actually is less work than doing it through paper. Part of that is setting the table for reading programs. I always say that reading programs are not acts of Congress. If you, as a reading program organizer, see something that is working well or something that is not working at all, you can change these reading programs in real time. There's no reason why you can see, if you see a reading program that just isn't working and isn't creating participation, just change it or discard it. And if you set the table with your readers and tell them, this is the way the reading program is set up now, we're going to see how everybody does, and then we're going to move you to different reading groups according to how you perform. And when you set the table that things are adaptable and changing, number 1, you indicate to your population or your constituents that you are following them and you care about what they do. And number 2, you're meeting them where they are and following them and helping them progress. And part of that down there in the bottom is moving readers into different reading groups as needs change. Either they are doing great or they're not performing, and you can appreciate and make adjustments in real time. Engaging is important. I know that many times public librarians will create these very thoughtful reading programs, and they will work really hard in getting the incentives squared up and getting local businesses involved. and then their participation and their signups is weak, and that's very disappointing. And part of how you keep readers engaged, and these are some keys here, is, and public librarians are really good at this, and that is creating awards and incentives as readers move along. What we found is that it doesn't really matter what the reward or the incentive is. It can be a milkshake, a t-shirt, an entry to win a new iPad. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that your readers know where they are and what that next award level is. If they can see that very clear path to success, they are much more likely to not only start a reading program, but actually complete it, right? And another way to increase engagement is short-term reading challenges. Just a quick example here. We know that most reading programs for public libraries conclude around July 31st. Last summer, we had a lot of our libraries who did a 1,000-minute challenge for the month of August. And it was really fun to see how many patrons in these libraries were able and willing to take on this reading challenge of reading 1,000 minutes through the month of August. And when you have these short-term reading challenges, they're less intimidating for patrons to get involved. And then you can parlay that short-term participation into longer-term participation. And it's really great to see that. Number 3 down there is keep it simple. I've talked to librarians all over the country who tell me about their incentive sets and what they're doing with their reading programs. And sometimes these reading programs get very unnecessarily complex. If it takes more than 10 or 12 seconds to explain what your reading program is and what the incentives are to a patron, it's probably too complex. So think about how your reading programs are set up and how easy they are for folks to understand and get engaged. And then we talk about a culture of reading. So reporting is so important. And I talk about reporting because most of us are really, really good at building these reading programs and being very thoughtful about them and identifying what our community will identify with and how they work. But then we get all this great information in, and a lot of times it doesn't ever leave the building. So what I would strongly encourage you to do is take that other part of building a culture, and that is sharing the information. That means having real-time data for your reading programs and then sharing that data with your readers and stakeholders. Many times this reading data comes in and it may only live on a Google spreadsheet that's accessible by library staff. And if that's the case, you're missing a huge opportunity. And number 2 that down there says give everyone constant access to cumulative reading data. When you give everybody access to your reading data and they can see how successful you are, that's how you build that culture. Just think about what it looks like when a second grader or a first grader or a middle schooler, whatever, walks into your library and they can see very clearly that last summer our library did, 550,000 minutes of reading. We read, 27,000 books and did all these. We have all these great data points you can share with your participants. When they are part of that culture, they are understanding that they are part of a reading culture, and that people who participate in this, they succeed. It's like being a part of a basketball team that wins the state championship 3 years in a row. That school and that school community identifies that they are good at basketball, and you want to do the same thing. You want to help your readers identify and understand that your library community is good at reading and they are good at reading programs. And you can only do that if you are sharing the information with your community. And we've had libraries send out press releases. They'll do fairly continuous social media posts talking about their success, and it's not that difficult, and I'll show you how to do it here. So kind of turning more specifically towards what Reader Zone does. In the state of Nebraska last year, we had about 100 libraries, a little more than 100 libraries, roll out Reader Zone to their community. Over 9 weeks, they logged 1.8 million minutes of reading, and that was a great success. Along with minutes, there are a lot of books and pages and other metrics involved, but the minutes was kind of the big one. They sent out a press release statewide and talked about their successful reading programs, and they kind of built this culture, number 1. And number 2, the libraries were able to prove their mission and show their stakeholders that, look, our reading programs are successful, and here are the numbers that prove it. Last March, we had a school in Carlsbad, California, that when the schools were closed, they moved everybody from a paper-based system into Reader Zone. And between March and when school would have closed or been out for the year in May, they logged about 700,000 minutes of reading, and they were able to maintain that culture, that school culture, while everybody was at home. We had another system in library system in Saskatchewan that built a reading program for 25 very small branches over a huge geographic area, and they were able to create this culture of reading with these people who were, number one, it's very rural to begin with, and with COVID, they didn't see each other even less than they would have before. But they were able to build these reading programs and have this cohesive group working together over a large geographic area. It was really fun to see. So, talking about the Reader Zone solution in specific terms, and again, if you want to learn more about those three principles, go to readerzone.com, click on the Resources tab, and then there's a tab down there that says Masterclass. And there's a much more longer form treatment about how to actually engage those principles and tactics to do so. So when we built Reader Zone, again, we've made it such that it takes 10 minutes to build and deploy a reading program for you as a reading program organizer. More importantly, it takes less than 3 minutes to get involved into your reading programs through the app. And then it takes less than 10 seconds to make reading entries every day. Because it's one thing to get readers enrolled, it's quite another to have them participate, as we all know. We also made it very accessible. Anybody can participate through the Reader Zone mobile app. If you don't have a mobile device, that's okay. You can still use any internet connected computer to engage in Reader Zone and have a Reader Zone account. And if you don't have a phone or access to a computer, you can still have a record in Reader Zone, and I'll show you how you can do that as a librarian. So it's a purpose-built system. Reader Zone was not built to do anything except for manage reading programs. Every feature, every pixel in the system is geared specifically toward that, and we are constantly adding new features that enhance the system and make it easier to run. We don't overload it with features and make it a spaghetti bowl of features and options. It is clean, it works, and it runs reading programs. That's its goal. So here's a quick FAQ. We're going to get into the platform here in just a minute, but I just like to answer these questions because they come up pretty quickly. Reader Zone is set up through reading programs, groups, and readers. Any Reader Zone account can have an unlimited number of reading programs. A reading program is kind of a container, and that container holds reading groups or activities. And then your readers join reading groups or reading activities, and then they log reading, in those groups. So each account can have an unlimited number of programs. Each program in turn can have an unlimited number of groups or activities, and then each group or activity can have an unlimited number of readers associated with it. And progress is tracked through minutes, books, pages, a yes, no response, and now activities, and I'll show you that. A family can have multiple accounts. I know that's very frustrating that if you have a family has 3 children and they want to all participate in different reading programs, you don't want to have 3 different logins and make it or cause what we call in technology a lot of friction to get people into the system. So through a Reader Zone account, you can have multiple readers, each participating in completely separate reading programs, and they all live on the app together. And that mobile app is not required, as I mentioned before. In terms of training and tech support, we have a lot of articles. We have a knowledge base. We do live Reader Zone clinics every Friday, and we will provide you as much tech support as you can absorb. So we want to make sure you have the tools you need. You can customize graphics for your library or school, and there's a pricing page on the website. We don't force you to go through a laborious demo or a lot of gyrations to get to pricing. You just go to the pricing page, you can see exactly what it's going to cost you right there. And we believe Reader Zone is different from other systems because it is purpose-built, and it's far less expensive than others that do the same thing or try to do the same thing. So let's go here. If you haven't tried Reader Zone yet, it's free up to 20 readers. Any Reader Zone account is free up to 20 readers, and those free accounts have all the features. A lot of libraries will get in, they'll build their reading programs and groups, they'll get the staff involved or a small focus group involved, and they will just test the system for 2 or 3 months before they sign up and pay for it. We want you to test it to pieces as much as you would like. I don't want you to step into Reader Zone and not feel like you don't understand or know it's going to work for you. So create your free account if you haven't yet, and then if you feel like it's going to work for your school or library, you can take that free account, convert it to a paid account, and you keep everything you've created in your free account. Just go to here to readerzone.com, click the sign up button. And now we're at the end. So I told you it was short. It was what, 15 minutes. So I built ReaderZone for these reasons, but the real kicker for me is right down there at the bottom, and that is increasing participation. Participation is the lifeblood of your reading programs. If you don't have participation, you really don't have anything. So ReaderZone number 1 increases participation in your reading programs, which helps you have better data, more engagement with your community, and helps you make better decisions. So that's what it's all about, is getting folks involved and engaged in your thoughtful and high quality reading programs. So with that, we are going to conclude that part of the thing. Let me turn around here and switch my screen. And we are going to get into the ReaderZone dashboard. So this is a good transition point. If you happen to have any questions, you can post them there to the chat. So with that, let's get into this ReaderZone dashboard. Everybody can see my screen there. Again, if you want to see this, click on this Resources tab button right here. Let me see here. Oh, let me get over here. Sorry. The masterclass is right there, where we talk more in depth about these principles of reading programs. But let's look at the ReaderZone dashboard. So here I am at the ReaderZone dashboard. Let me bump that up a little bit so you can see it a little better. There we go. Hopefully you can see that a little better. So on the ReaderZone dashboard up here in the top, we have what we call our global progress indicator. This shows you all the data that has been logged into your ReaderZone account. You can look at your all-time stats. You can see what's happened in the last 7 days or the last 30 days and just get a snapshot with regard to what's happened with your ReaderZone account. Down here in the center of the page are all my individual reading programs. You can have as many reading programs as you would like. You can see here there are some stats with regard to how many readers you have engaged, how many have left. This kind of just gives you a breakdown. You can see what those are right here. This is your completion progress for each reading program, and then your metrics right here. To the right of all of these, there's this little plus button here where you can edit any portion of your reading program at any time. This little code here, each reading program has a 5-character code, and it is that 5-character code that your readers use to find and then join your reading programs. So let's see what this looks like. If I go down here, say to my Smith Elementary reading program, if I click into that, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reading groups, and each reading group can have its own set of parameters. For example, my 5th graders are logging the books they read between these 2 dates. My Did You Read Today group is answering the question, did you read today, with a yes/no response between these 2 dates. My Minutes Log group is logging the minutes they read between these 2 dates. Mr. Jones' 4th grade class is doing something different as well. So each reading group in any given reading program can have its own set of parameters. So you could really have, the sky's kind of the limit. You can have adult reading programs, juvenile programs, all in one reading program if you would like. But let's see what this looks like if I click into my, let's say my minutes log. You can see here that I have 6 readers here. If it's red, it means this reading group is expired. Its end date has come and gone. If it's purple, it's active. So let's click into minutes log right here. And now I can see my readers. These are the readers who are participating in this particular reading group. You can see their name here. There's a little plus button down here again where you can add an entry or make a note for these readers or remove them from the group right there. But if I were to look at, say, a Billy reader right here, I can see that he's read 352 minutes so far. But if I click on his page, each of your readers at ReaderZone, let me back this up a little bit, has their own page at ReaderZone where you can see their progress feed. You can see all the data that this reader has entered into their ReaderZone account. You can see the books they're reading and the books they have finished. This reader doesn't have anything in their book bank, but you can see their metrics here as well. You can edit their data, and you can really see everything that's happening with this reader right here. You can view a report for them and really deal with them. Let me turn off my camera here so you can see this a little better. We want to be able to see the whole thing. All right, so you're going to add an entry for any reader anytime. You can add a note, or you can view the awards any reader has won. But it doesn't matter if you have, 20 readers or 20,000 readers in your Reader Zone account, you're only ever 3 clicks away from viewing an individual reader. So now that we understand this relationship between programs, groups, and readers, let's go all the way back here to our programs page, and let's create an all-new reading program. So what I'll do here is on my dashboard, I see this little add program button. Let's add a program. My first step is to decide if I want an advanced setup or a quick start setup. The quick start allows me to go through the process of creating a reading program, groups, and goals all in one smooth process. The advanced makes it so I can make multiple reading groups on one screen altogether. Let's just do the quick start here because that tends to be a little easier to work with. Once I click that quick start, you can see my reading program code has already been assigned, and this is always a randomized 5-character code. So let's name this reading program. Maybe we'll call this reading program Summer is Awesome. If you want to have this be an activities program, and I'll show you what one of those looks like here in a minute, you click this little box, but let's just have this be this program. We'll click Next. And let's add a reading group. So we have this reading program, which is the container. And now we are going to put a group in that container. So let's make a reading group. So maybe I want to call this group first graders. You can call your groups anything you want. It's important to give your groups kind of descriptive names, so when your patrons enter in that code, they find the group they belong with. We'll click Next. My next decision is whether or not this group is going to have a specific reading goal or just log the reading they do. The goal-based will give your readers a specific amount to read or accomplish over a specific time frame. So the example down here is 400 minutes per month. But it can be, 1,000 minutes over the summer, 10 books between May 1st and July 31st, whatever you want. Or a reading log allows your readers just to log what they are reading without working against a specific goal. Let's do the goal-based here and click Next. Next, I'm going to select a metric for this reading group. It can be minutes, pages, chapters, books, a yes/no response, or other. The other can be really anything you want. You can put push-ups in there, play outside, give your mom a hug, do a story walk, whatever you want. You can put your a metric in there that you define that these readers will log. But why don't we just do minutes here, because that tends to be kind of the most common. Then we'll do Next. So let's say for my first graders, I want them to read 100 minutes and I can do day, week, every month, or for the duration of the group. The duration of the group would make it such that I'm asking my readers to read 100 minutes between the first date and the last date of the reading group that I select. Maybe I just want my first graders to read 100 minutes a week. Just kind of an arbitrary number here. We'll select our start date, and you can go backwards up to 10 days, but why don't we just go to April 22nd? And I can push this out maybe to June 30th. Once I click Next, I have my dates in there, and I have 2 additional items here that are optional. The first is sign-up questions. If I want to ask my readers some demographic questions, I can ask them, what is your date of birth? What is your library card number? What school did you attend or will attend? What grade level did you last complete? And what is your complete address and phone number? I can ask my readers any blend of these questions or none at all, whatever I would like. Why don't we just ask these readers, what is your library card number? Just to put it in there. Then I click Next. And this next optional step is called the book bank. And the book bank allows me, as a reading program organizer, to put suggested reading into the book banks for those who join this particular reading group. So maybe for a first grade group, I want them to read Hop on Pop. I'm going to give them a suggestion to read Hop on Pop. I enter in a title, author, ISBN, EAN number here, or a keyword, click search, and it'll find some books for me. Maybe there's Hop on Pop right there. And I can have them read this once or give them the option to read it more than once. The reread option is particularly helpful for 1,000 books for kindergarten program, but we'll just click read once here maybe. And I can just keep adding more and more books to this book bank, and I can do so anytime. Once I'm done, I'm going to click finish here. And now this reading program is being developed in the database, and as it stands right now, it is ready to go. So there it is. What did I call this? Summer is Awesome. So there is this reading program right here. Summer is Awesome. If I click into that, There's my reading group, first graders, ready to go. So let me turn off my camera again so you can see that button down there. Sorry, I'm working with two screens here. So if I want to do another group, I'll just click Add Group, and let's add another group. Maybe I want to add third graders. Click Next. Maybe I want my third graders just to log, not have a specific goal. I can do a contest here if I would like as well, but let's just do Promote Reading. Maybe I want them to log the books they read between today, well, let's do the day before yesterday, and maybe all the way to the end of the year. Why not? December 31st, 2021. I'll click Next. If I don't want to ask them any questions for now, I'll just click Skip. We'll finish that if I don't want to do a book bank. And now I have two reading groups that are ready to go. So if you were to enter this reading program code into the app right now, you could join these groups as we speak. So you can go through and develop your reading groups and play with the parameters and work with them until you're ready to deploy them. You can see here that I can change any of these parameters at any time. If I decide, for example, that 100 minutes per week was way too easy for this group, maybe I change that to 125 minutes a week. And I click Save over here. And there we go. So you can see how quickly I can develop and then deploy a reading program. Obviously, if you don't share this reading program code with your community, they're not going to be able to join this reading program. So you can really experiment with these things and play with your reading programs until you're ready to deploy them. And when you're ready, you just release that code to your community and you are on your way. So with that, let's go here and see what it looks like for your readers to join and then participate with ReaderZone. So I'm going to pull up another thing here. Give me a second. So here's my actual phone. It's a Google Pixel 2, an older phone, but this is what your readers see when they download and then open ReaderZone for the first time. So let's create a new ReaderZone account. So if I don't have an account yet, I'm going to click Sign Up. And let's do this. Let's create a ReaderZone account. So maybe I'll create an account for James Reader. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to use my keyboard here. Put an email in here for James123@rz.com. We just kind of put a junk email in there. We'll put a password in. Once I have my password in here the way I would like, and I have my account kind of underway, I'll click Submit, and my ReaderZone account is already made. So next I have a decision to make, and that is, will I be a reader or a parent? A reader is an account that will have one person participating in it, and a parent is an account that can have multiple readers in it, more than one. Let's do the parent account and click Next. And now we're ready to add a reader. So let's add a reader here. Maybe we'll add James. If I could spell it, Junior. So James Jr. is my reader. I'll click Next. And now I'm going to enter in this reading program code. So once I arrive at this spot, this is where it's important to share this reading program code with your community so they know what they're doing and what to do. So we'll put this code in here, which is 082D5. And there's my reading program. So you can see that it says Summer is Awesome right there. So if you want to put the name of your library or your school right there, that helps your participants know that they're in the right place. And these are the groups that are available for me to join. So you can see how it's important to give your groups very descriptive names that help your readers be oriented and know where they are. Why don't we click our first graders group? Maybe James Jr. is a first grader. I'll click Next. And if you recall, I asked these readers what their library card number is. So let's put a library card number in there. Sorry, my phone. of all things. So once your readers have joined a reading program, they always have access to their own book bank, which means they can keep track of the books they're reading and the books they have finished. So you can skip this step as a reader, or you can put a book in here that you're reading. So maybe James Jr. is reading, let's find a book here. Computer named, oh, sorry, it's a computer called Catherine. So if he's reading that book, I can add that book. He can read it once or more than once. Maybe we'll just have him read that once. And he can add as many books as he wants to his book bank. But once I'm done here, or I can skip this step, I'll click next. And now we are ready to go. We are in this program. We're signed up. If I view this reader, I can make my first reading entry right here. And when you log in for the first time, you're going to get these little prompts that show you kind of some aspects of the app to get you oriented and trained. He's in this first graders group. So because he's in a reading program that is, a reading group rather, that is logging minutes, you can see that the goal here is to read 100 minutes. He's got 100 minutes to go in his goal, and he's on his way. If we go to his book bank, I'll let you read that. You can see this is the book that I added as a reading program organizer, Hop on Pop, and that's a book that he added on his own, which is a computer named Catherine. Let's say, for example, he finished Hop on Pop. It's great. It goes into the books I finished area. Great job, James Jr. If you look over here at the awards, these are the awards that are available. Every single reading group has a default set of awards that are a part of it. You, as a reading program organizer, can get in there and define the images, the messaging, and when this award is triggered for all of your readers. But let's go back over here to the reading entry screen. We'll pause that, we'll click next, and because it's over 30 seconds, it's going to round up to 1 minute. We'll confirm that entry, and it's done. He has made his entry for the day, and he's unlocked his first award. And again, you as a reading program organizer can define exactly what this image is and what this message says down here for all of your awards. But I'll click OK here. We'll click OK here. You see my goal is 1 minute. If I don't want to use the timer, I'll just click manual entry. And maybe I read 20 minutes today. I'll click next, confirm that entry, and it's done. So you can see how quickly I can make a reading entry. It's very, very simple. If you happen to miss a few days reading, just click on the little menu up here. You can go to add past reading. This is going to give me some instructions and tell me how to use this. And it'll default to yesterday. So let's say maybe on April 26th, I forgot to log my 25 minutes of reading. I can just go in here and log that reading, and it's done. This is the part that I love about the app, is that when you talk about sharing information with your readers, you want to prove to them that they're doing a good job. So this reader can see right now he's read 46 minutes. He finished Hop on Pop. He unlocked an award, and these are his reading entries. So if your readers have been reading all summer and they've been diligent about making reading entries, they can scroll and scroll and scroll through this and see all their reading entries, which is really fun and a way to prove to them that they are indeed readers. So now that we have a little bit of familiarity with the app, if I go back here, if I want to add more readers, I click on my readers, I can add another reader here and put that reader in a completely separate reading program or group, and I have that exact same experience. So, you know, a lot of times people will use Reader Zone, and mom and dad will be participating in the adult reading programs. They'll have their kids in other reading programs, and everybody lives together on the app. So let's go over here to the screen here, and let's see our handiwork. So I'm going to refresh this page, and we are going to see what's happened. So here's my first grade readers. You see that group now has one reader in it, and I bet I know who it is. There's James Jr. right there. So if I look at James, I can see the books he's reading. He's reading a computer called Catherine. He has finished the book Hop on Pop. He's read 46 minutes, and I can see all of his reading entries right here. If I want to edit an entry, I can just go right here and make edit an entry at any time. So if a child, you know, put in that they read 5,000 minutes in one day, you can go in there and correct that on their behalf. And that's kind of the thrust of how it all works. We try to make it very simple. It's easy for your families to participate, and you know, if they are at all diligent about entering their reading, they'll do so. And it's really fun to see how that works. So with that, I'll see if there's any questions right now, but why don't we go back over here to our programs page, and I'll show you what an activities program looks like. So here's awesome activities. The activities programs were built so that you can include reading and non-reading activities in for your readers. So here's just an example of some reading activities. I can have an activity that says do a story walk, where I've asked my readers to do a story walk once per month between these two dates. I can have them log the books they finish. I can have them log the minutes they read. I can have an activity to attend a library program. And each of these activities can either be goal-based or a log-based activity. As your readers join this, they can see what their activities are. So let's do that. Let's pull up a reader here. Let's pull up our Reader Zone account, and let's add a reader. So maybe I have Jenny Reader is James's little sister. So if Jenny wants to participate in this activities program, we're going to put the code in here. And now you'll see that all these activities are lined up. Jenny can join the activity that she would like to participate with, or she can join all of them by clicking right there. Or sorry, join all. So let's just join all these activities. We'll click next. We'll start. So for Jenny, because she's participating in an activities program, if I view her account here, these are all the activities that are available to her. There's the name of my group, Awesome Activities. So you can put the name of your library up there, Shelbyville Activities, whatever you'd like. If she did a story walk, we'll click on Do a Story Walk. And we're going to get some instructions here because it's the first time we've done this. And I put the metric in there of logging a story walk. So I want to log 1 story walk. Great job. We'll click OK. And if you recall, the goal here was to do 1 story walk per month. So the goal here is to do 1 story walk per month. She's done it for this month, so her goal is complete. Great job, Jenny. If I want to go back to her activities, let's say that she wants to log her minutes too. So, but you can see here, let me show you something. So log your minutes. Where is this? This program is not started yet. It doesn't start till June 1st. So you can give your readers the option to join these groups before they even begin. And when this program, and when this activity starts, she'll be able to come back and participate with it. So it's a great way of giving your readers both reading, or your participants both reading and non-reading activities, and help them participate that way. So it's a really great tool. So with that, I think we've spent enough time here on the app. Let's go through the other tools that are a part of Reader Zone, and I'm going to buzz through these very quickly. The Manage Readers allows you to take readers who are already in your Reader Zone account and manage their participation, which means I can take any one of my readers, remove them from reading groups, add them into other reading groups. I can delete their account. I can edit their details. If I want to put the reader's address and phone number in there, I can do that. And it just allows me a lot of flexibility to manage the readers who are already in my account. The Invite Readers allows me to send email invitations to prospective participants in my Reader Zone account. You don't have to invite people to join your Reader Zone account. As long as they have your reading program code, they can join your programs. But if I click Add Reader here, I can put an email address in here and then invite them to participate in the program or group that I designate. If I have a patron who just cannot participate electronically, that's just fine. I can create what's called, if you saw that, I selected internal reader right here. I can put a reader in, Bill Reader. Doesn't have a phone and you can't participate through the computer, that's just fine. I'm going to put him in, where is it? Summer is Awesome. And in my 3rd graders group, once I have that, I'll click the purple button down there at the bottom, and now it's put them in that group. And if this patron brings in a sheet of paper and shows you what their reading entries have been, you can make those entries on their behalf. Or if they want to call the library on the phone and deliver their results, that's just fine too. The Share Promote badges are fantastic. These are a really easy way to get the word out about your reading programs. Let me turn off the camera so you can see this a little better. Down here, there's this little item that says Share on Facebook. So what I can do is create a badge. And I don't know if I'm, oh, let me get my mouse to the right spot. There we go. If I want to create a badge for my Summer is Awesome reading program, I can just do that right here. I can put a message in here, as much information as I would like. Put some more down here. Reading is amazing. If I want to put in my library logo or my school logo, I can upload the image right here. But once I save this, and this is the image I've already uploaded. This is a little badge you can put, and you can define this text. You can define this text, and you can also, this is the name of your reading program. This is your reading program code. You can share this on Facebook with one click, or you can turn this into an HTML piece and put that on any web page you would like. And this way you can tell your patrons, oh, just go to the website. There's a little purple banner there. Just do what the purple banner says. We've had libraries that will put a lot of detail on these things, and it's kind of fun to see how they do that. The progress badges are my favorite part of the system because this is how you prove your mission as a library and as doing summer reading. This is a real-time reporting tool. Let me show you what I mean. If I want to make a badge, say for Summer is Awesome, you can see here that we have read 46 minutes so far. I can take this badge. I can replace the Reader Zone logo down here with my own. If I click the upload image right there, I can create a badge for any selection of reading programs and or groups, and I can really customize this even by date range as well. I can share this to Facebook with one click, or I can turn this into an HTML piece. If you turn this into an HTML badge that lives on your website, let me show you what this would look like. So let's pull up our app here. Let's say Jenny. Well, this is a different group. Let's go back over here. Let's go to James. So let's say James was really ambitious and he read 100 minutes today. We're going to confirm that entry. It's done. If I go back over to this page and refresh this, this is an instant reporting tool, which means if this is posted on your library webpage, the reader would make a reading entry and see this number pop up immediately, which is so great to report and give real-time data to your stakeholders in your community and show them how great your reading programs are. So I love these real-time reporting tools. The reports are very powerful. There's no reason to run a reading program unless you could harvest data from it and make great decisions with it. So here on your reports page, you have over here is your activity feed. I showed you the activity feed for an individual reader. The activity feed here is for your entire Reader Zone account, and it will show everything that your readers have accomplished or everything they've done. So if you have a lot of readers involved in your Reader Zone account, this is going to look like a stock ticker with all these entries coming in. And each of these is color-coded. Green means they entered or finished a book. Purple is when they unlock an award. Gray is when they make a reading entry, and so on and so forth. So it's really fun to see this. The overview area shows you all of your reading data kind of in a summary sense, and then over here in your activity view shows you all the activity that's all in a summary form. Of course, there are more filters available. You can select any range of reading activities or reading programs, reading groups, even down to individual readers. You can select a date range. There are reader conditions available here. You go through and set all the parameters you would like and click apply, and that'll pull the report for the parameters you've set, and then you can export that report as a CSV file, as an overview, or as an activity file. So a lot of ways to harvest and use your data within Reader Zone. Part of this is showing which readers have accomplished which awards as well, because I know it's important to see who has finished an incentive or finished a goal, and that's part of the CSV download right here. The My Account is very powerful as well. This is how we're able to make it such that one Reader Zone account can take on an entire school district or library system. I'll just show you one thing here. It's the Authorized Users. The Authorized User allows me to make it such that I can designate staff people over specific reading programs and or groups. So let me show you what that means. Oh, let me get back over there. There we go. I think I'm in the right spot. Oh, there it is. So if I have a staff person, let's say, for example, I have Frank Reader. Put an email address in there. Let's say Frank, I want Frank Reader to manage my Summer is Awesome program. I can give him read access where he can just see the data, or write access where he can manipulate it. If I click save here, it'll send him an email, invite him to come to Reader Zone, and then allow him, he would only see the program and or groups to which I have given him access. So this is how we're able to roll Reader Zone out to hundreds of libraries and have one account. The account owner can see all of the data and has access to everything, but a authorized user can have access to the reading programs and groups to which the administrator wants them to see. So it's a way of maintaining privacy and spreading responsibility with your Reader Zone account as well. So that's as far as I like to get in terms of demonstrating the system. There's a lot more tools available to you, but I try not to overdo it here. We've been in session here for about 50 minutes. So with that, if there's any specific questions about something you want to see with Reader Zone, I'll just show you a couple quick things here that have been very popular use cases for Reader Zone. The first is a 1,000 books for kindergarten program. You can see here that what I would do is set up my reading groups such that, you know, families know that we're going to start kindergarten in 2021. So I have one reader here. But the way I would set this up is to make it such that my goal is to read 1,000 books before September 1st, 2021. And I know these kids are starting kindergarten this fall. So, you know, I can put my awards in here. I can put my book bank in here to be early readers and emergent reader books. On the flip side, if I know that there are kids who are going to start kindergarten in 2026, these kids are very, very young at this point. So maybe my book bank will include books that are high contrast books for very young readers. And I can really shape the experience for these readers. It doesn't matter when they join my 1,000 books for kindergarten program. Their goal is going to be to read 1,000 books before they start kindergarten. In fact, this application has been successful to the point where kids will finish their 1,000 books, you know, by the time they're like 3 years old. So we've had a lot of libraries who will make a 2,000 books for kindergarten program. So everybody who graduates from 1,000 books will then go to the 2,000 books for kindergarten program, which is really fun to see. For Reader Zone, we want to give you a lot of tools as well. Let me show you something here that might be useful for you. We have this Google folder that is filled with social media posts, printable flyers, videos, lots of tools you can use. Let's see here. To promote your reading programs. For example, we have this, you know, all these things you can download. If you download this image, you can drop your reading program code right here and then put some copy in there, and that's ready to share to Facebook or Instagram or whatever you like. So there's a lot of tools here, promotional tools that are free to use, and they're really fun to see. So with that, what else can I show you? Let me show you here on readerzone.com. If you want to know what pricing is, just click on the pricing tool right here. You select the number of readers you anticipate enrolling in your Reader Zone account. And then we have a summer reading plan, which is a 90-day plan, and you can set your start date. We always suggest when you create your Reader Zone account, if you're going to do the summer plan, you know, if your start date is going to be, say, June 1, get in there, create your reading programs, create your groups, get them all ready to go, and you can even start getting the word out about your reading programs now and having folks enroll in your reading programs today. And then set your start date to be June 1st. And on June 1st, your programs come alive, people can start logging reading, and you hit the ground running. So it works very well that way. And again, you know, we don't try to hide pricing or make it difficult for you to find out what it's going to cost. It's very accessible and very easy. The resources tab right here gives you a knowledge base that has a lot of articles and videos on how to use every aspect of the system. We also have a forum and a blog available for you. So there's a lot of tools. We also have a Facebook group that is accessible, or that is built for reading program organizers only. And you're welcome to use that and join that as well, which is a great way of getting information and sharing ideas. So with that, we are right at 57 minutes. If anybody has any specific questions, you can post them there in the chat. Otherwise, I'll stop talking and droning on and taking up your time. But I hope you've learned about Reader Zone and what it can do for you. And hopefully it's something that will work for your library. give us a call. Let us know what questions you have. We'd love to help you get involved and get engaged. We help a lot of libraries who sign up for Reader Zone. We'll do a little Zoom call with them and just walk through how to use the system, and kind of do a Zoom call and set up their accounts and their programming and groups so it fits what they're trying to do. And it works very well. So anyhow, thank you so much. Hopefully you've got some nuggets that you can use, and we'll conclude the webinar and wish you happy reading. Thank you.